Hey y'all, it's Linnea. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Linnea, and I make videos about my health, natural beauty, and marriage. And this video is going to be about my health, specifically my GI health. I have been documenting my journey with getting a diagnosis for my chronic bloating, nausea, vomiting, constipation, and other issues since January of this year. Thus far, through X-rays, we have determined that I have slow intestinal motility. And through about a year of research and symptom tracking, I have also determined that I have gastroparesis. There will be a video coming very soon explaining why I am 100% certain that the bulk of my issues come from gastroparesis, but I wanted to go ahead and give a life and symptom and treatment update first, just because I haven't done that in a while and I want to go ahead and do that. So the last vlog that I posted and filmed was at the end of July, and in that video I was trying to still eat at normal meal times and to have as balanced a diet as I could despite my symptoms. There was even a day in that video where Robert and I completed a full body workout, and I thought it would be a turning point for me to start building back my strength. Sadly, that workout left me sore and exhausted for the entire week, and I realized that I am just not at the point with my health yet where I can start consistently pushing myself physically like that. I'm just not there yet. Even though I badly do want to build back the strength that I've lost over the past year, I'm just not to a point with my nutrition yet where that would be a good idea. It has been heartbreaking for me to watch my strength deteriorate over the course of this year. Even taking walks that are too long can cause me a great deal of pain and discomfort. It has also been incredibly heartbreaking for me to not be able to nourish my body in the way that I would like to. I want to have control over my food choices and to be able to plan healthy meals that fuel me consistently throughout the day. But that reality only seems to get farther and farther away the worse that my symptoms get. What I think will be best for me right now is to post a monthly or potentially more often update on my symptoms and my treatment and my diet. I still want to track the progression of this illness and document it for you guys. There are so many particular topics that I want to cover in detailed videos. For example, the upcoming video about the reasons I know I have gastroparesis, or the multiple videos that I want to make about how this has affected my food preferences and my relationship with food like over the past couple of years. I also want to discuss how having undiagnosed gastroparesis has affected me mentally, because it really has. There is just so much I want to talk about. As far as my current diet and treatment plan, I stopped taking Linzess the week before our vacation to Florida in the last week of July. We took that vacation to celebrate 1 year of marriage. We have posted 2 vlogs from that trip, but we did take footage every single day, so eventually all the vlogs will be up on the channel. It is just taking a while since Robert edits those, and he has had a lot going on with work lately, so expect those videos up like by Christmas. Just by Christmas, they'll be up. The vacation changed a lot for me though. Firstly, it got me away from thinking about food and my symptoms all day, every day. It was so hard not to be obsessed with how I was feeling when I had been vlogging about it weekly for so long. On the trip, we focused on the experiences and just enjoying our time together. It was such a relaxing time for us, and I had a lot more energy than I'd expected to have. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to walk very far, but I was able to do everything that Robert was able to do until the last 2 days of the trip. For the 2 full days at Disney World, I did use a wheelchair because the combination of all the walking and the heat just finally got to me. I was so happy that the trip was so good and that I didn't have to miss out on anything due to my health. Robert was super kind about the wheelchair, and he was willing to push me anywhere that we needed to go when it got to that point. Although we did only use the chair to travel long distances. Once we got to a part of the park that we wanted to be at for a while, we would park the chair and I would walk around for a bit until we needed the chair again. Disney World has a lot of parking spots for wheelchairs that made this super easy and low hassle. On our trip, I was able to handle a variety of foods and try things that, when I try them at home, normally make me pretty sick. I had also just gotten off Linzess and I was experiencing constipation. Seriously, I went 3 whole days without pooping during the vacation, but I was still able to eat pretty normally, which was yet another sign that when I'm not actively in a gastroparesis flare, my intestinal issues don't travel up as much as my doctors want to make me believe. But again, I will get deeper into that in my next video. Anyways, it was a great trip and it gave me a lot of hope. And it also really motivated me to work harder to get to the bottom of this and to find healing, because I don't want to spend the rest of my life cooped up at home being sick. I want to go on more trips like that with Robert. I want to have a vibrant life, and that trip reminded me like, oh my gosh, I need to find some healing with this. I need to like do something, because I want my life to be full of more of these great experiences and not full of more of like just sitting at home being sick, which is what I do most of the time when I'm not at work. I stay home, I work on the channel, and I like deal with my symptoms. And I just like, that trip like reminded me that I just want more than that out of life. And it just motivated me even more to try to like get that, basically. And that was part of what the trip did for me. But to get back to like the GI part of the trip, I do want to emphasize like the fact that even though I had just gotten off Linzess and was constipated, I was eating fairly normally, which is like, again, ding, 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 it is gastroparesis, not primarily my intestines. Although, again, I do believe that I have intestinal dysmotility. So I am going to briefly comment here on why I stopped taking the Linzess, since it is like a treatment and diet update, and the Linzess was part of my treatment, and I did cease it. I have not been on Linzess for over a month at this point, and I will tell you why. I stopped taking the Linzess because it gave me the literal grossest bowel movements of my entire freaking life. And they were not frequent either. I would sometimes not poop for an entire day, and then the next day I would go quite a few times, and it would be like gross every single time. After like over a month of only having super loose, foul smelling, even like sticky, like really sticky, just awful bowel movements, I decided that I could not do it anymore. My bowel movements were also really small in volume, which was super annoying because I felt like I was enduring all these side effects from the Linzess without like actually having improved motility. And since getting off Linzess, my bowel movements are actually a lot more substantial in volume, and I feel like my intestines are doing better even if I do have occasional constipation. I find that more natural remedies like probiotics, herbs, and ginger juice lead to overall much better intestinal function than the Linzess ever did for me. Like, I don't know about you, but I would much rather have like large and comfortable like bowel movements, even if they're slightly less frequent, than to have what the Linzess caused for me, which was basically like really small in volume, but very like urgent and just like gross bowel movements. Like maybe Linzess works for some people, but for me, like, especially when I got to that maximum dose, it was just a terrible experience. No. And the Linzess, like whether I was on it or not, didn't seem to help my gastroparesis freaking at all. So that was another reason why I was like, yeah, this is not worth being on. So when we came home from our trip, I decided that I needed to change my life. I had this plan that I could beat my gastroparesis with herbs and supplements and to eat a nutrient-rich diet that was also low in volume. I went grocery shopping and I made a diet plan. It is hard to even talk about this now though, thinking about how much I feel like I failed. I was trying so hard to eat low sugar, high protein, high nutrient, and it worked sort of, and for less than a month. Now, I will say the herbs have been helping me. I have been drinking herbal tea most days ever since we got back from vacation, and I really do feel that it is helping me. I have been drinking a lot of licorice root, chamomile, dandelion root, lemongrass, lavender, lemon balm, and peppermint tea mixtures. I like to buy my herbs in bulk and then make my own herbal blends depending on my mood each day. Robert even bought me a really cool electric kettle to make the tea process even easier. Our kettle boils water in 5 minutes now, literally just 5 minutes. And I have this neat cup that lets me load in the herbs and then strain them out when the tea is done steeping, like super easily. Another thing that I tried that really helped when we got back from vacation was making my own juices. I bought a high quality juicer a few months ago. I bought it because I was worried my diet would become more and more dependent on liquid replacements for normal foods. and I wanted an option for still getting a lot of the great nutrients and antioxidants from fruits and vegetables without having to actually eat them. And I was not entirely wrong about needing more liquids. The juicer that I got is a Nama juicer, and I'm really happy with it, especially since I know that it's going to last a lifetime. I made green juice with celery, parsley, lime, and apples a couple of times when we first got back from vacation. I really liked drinking it in the morning and it tasted really yummy. The only issue was buying the ingredients and making the time to cut the ingredients, juice them, store the juices, and wash the juicer. It just took so much effort. And so I stopped trying to drink green juice every day, although I did successfully incorporate green juice for about 2 weeks every morning after we first got back from vacation. I also made another type of juice that I drank daily for about 3 weeks straight. I have also stopped making that juice for the time being just because I don't feel like I have the time to make it right now. Prepping the ingredients and washing the juicer and the jars to store the juice just takes so long, and it takes so much out of my weekend or my evenings. However, this other juice was even more helpful than the green juice, and I do wish that I could make it more often. It was made of carrots, oranges, lemons, turmeric, and ginger. It tasted really, really spicy and tangy, and it was so nice to just sip on it in the mornings or afternoons. When I was able to be disciplined enough to have my daily juices and my herbs, I was indeed feeling better. And I kept up with the turmeric ginger juice for longer than I did the green juice. Another thing that I changed since the vacation that has continued to help me has been getting back into my probiotic and prebiotic supplements. I was taking these really consistently at the start of the year, but I stopped during the prep for my SIBO test and I just never started back up again. The ones that I take are the Silver Fern brand, and I find that these work super well for me. I have also been taking an omega-3 supplement since I can never get myself to eat fish or to eat plant-based omega-3 sources consistently due to my symptoms. Fish gets me so nauseous, and chia seeds hurt my stomach and do not digest well. I tried to eat chia while I was on the Linzess, and they seriously just came right out. It was so freaking gross. I'm just so glad that I'm off Linzess. The Linzess made using my favorite more natural motility remedies really pretty much impossible because my body would over-respond to everything and it was super unpleasant. The diet that I tried when we came back from our trip involved lots of nuts and nut butters. It involved beans with corn, edamame, and peas for lunch, fresh fruit such as kiwis, high-protein dinners like eggs with butter and whole grain toast, Greek yogurt, vegetables, etc. I kept wanting to make myself eat meat, but I just never could. Meat makes my symptoms so much worse most of the time, and it has become such an intense food aversion for me. I will have meat at most once a week, usually when Robert and I go out to eat. If Robert and I go out to eat, it is most likely a good symptom day, and thus I am more likely to actually crave and enjoy meat. However, I never buy meat to cook at home anymore. Pretty quickly, this nutrient-rich diet plan started to fall apart as my symptoms from gastroparesis did not respond well to these foods that, if my primary issues were actually my intestines, should have worked pretty well for me. A lot of these food choices were based around advice that I'd gathered about improving gut health and motility from a variety of sources, and yet it just didn't work. Robert and I had this conversation on vacation, and when I mention this, I do not want you to think that he was dismissing my illness or anything like that. He was just stating what honestly, from the outside looking in, seems like the truth. He said, "You are not as sick as you are afraid that you are. You keep thinking that you're going to lose an insane amount of weight or imminently need a feeding tube, but that just is not what is happening for you." And I took that in and I was like, okay, so let's try to act like this is something that we can fight and that we can fix because it isn't unfixable yet. And so I had this in my head, I can fight this, I can fix this. I can feed myself properly and get my strength back and get my health back. Let's go, let's do this. And a part of that came from wanting to know and to feel that, I have done everything that I can possibly do to get better. I don't want to leave any stone unturned or any option untried. The first thing that I stopped eating in my new plan was the nuts and nut butters. I had made these energy balls with hemp seeds and almond butter and pistachios and dates and coconut, and I ate them in the mornings as my snack for literally just 1 week. And then I had to stop because they hurt my stomach so much. And then I'd also started for my first food in the morning for breakfast, I was either having a bowl of kiwis or a small acai bowl with granola from Trader Joe's. And that worked for a few weeks until the raw fruit started to cause me so much pain and discomfort that I had to stop doing that as well. I ate the beans and peas and edamame and corn for lunch for about 3 weeks to a month, and then I kind of started skipping it, and it just started to cause me a lot of pain and hurt, and I would find myself replacing it with drinkable yogurts and crackers or granola bars or juice. I would make the beans and peas and edamame and then bring them to work and then not eat them and bring them home, and it just became more and more untenable to eat those foods because they were so freaking hard to digest, and I would just be in so much pain from eating them, and so I gave that up as well. So yeah, I would just find myself replacing them with snacks like drinkable yogurts and crackers, granola bars, juice, etc. And the food that I gave up on the most quickly was the eggs, which I had intended to have for dinner with spinach and butter and veggies and cheese. And it would just make me so nauseated and overfull after the first few bites that I just couldn't bear to spend all that time after work cooking it and preparing the vegetables and cleaning it up when I knew that I'd only be able to eat a few bites of what I ultimately made. So very quickly, dinner became gluten-free crackers and cheese, or I would also just skip dinner altogether sometimes and just have some juice or some hot chocolate and hope for the best. And I'm starting to realize that the only path forward is to follow the gastroparesis-friendly diet, even though that diet tends to constipate me and tends to just be generally low in protein and low in fiber and high in carbs and sugars. But I just really don't have a choice anymore. There was even a day last week where I was in such severe pain that I had to leave work. And the day after that, I had such a hard time tolerating any food that I literally just ate yogurt and then threw it up in the bathroom at work. It was a super close call and it almost got all over my desk. It was awful. Gastroparesis is one of the worst things that I've ever gone through, and it feels so helpless to stop the progression of it, no matter how many herbs and probiotics and other things that I try. I'm going to keep up with the herbal teas and hopefully start making my fresh ginger juice again as well, but we'll see how it goes. I've tried buying the pre-made ginger and turmeric shots, and I drink those sometimes to help with motility and nausea, but they are not nearly as good or as strong as the juice that I make myself. It's so hard to know that in order to help my health the most, I have to spend a lot of time doing all these remedies and supplements and juices that take all this extra time out of my day that other people don't have to do. It's just, as a sick person, I have to do even more to manage my symptoms, and it's so exhausting, especially when my symptoms are in a flare. Right now, I am just honestly really lost on what to eat. I'm even having a hard time keeping up with my herbal teas every day because sometimes it feels pointless to put that up against my symptoms and my mental state with food right now. The foods that I eat most days as my main sources of nutrition are strawberry flavored Greek yogurt, quinoa cooked in bone broth with tomato sauce and cheese, saltines, almond flour crackers, coffee, hot chocolate, applesauce, grapefruit juice, cherry juice. I make this yummy mocktail with aloe juice, lemon juice, lime spindrift, and tart cherry juice that is delicious after work. And I also have other snacks like gummy bears and chocolate and mints. And I also got this protein meal replacement powder called Kachava. And at first I just loved it, and I was like, yes, this is the new thing. If I can drink this Kachava, I'm gonna be all right. And it's really good in whole milk. And if I can put a whole serving of it in whole milk, it is a lot of calories and a lot of nutrition. And it's worked a couple of times, but there are also plenty of times that I've tried to drink Kachava and it's made me nauseous. And I'm just like every little thing that I've tried, like it works sometimes and it doesn't work other times. And so yeah, I just don't know what I'm doing at all. Like right now, my days are typically like I wake up, I'll have some coffee, and I like to put like kind of hot chocolate and coffee together. So I'll have like coffee that has like some milk and some chocolate sauce in it, and then I'll have some applesauce. So that's normally like my first meal of the day. Then like at work for snacks, I will have like drinkable yogurts. I usually love like the drinkable kefir or the drinkable Greek yogurt. Pilaris, I think, is the brand that I buy. It has a lot of protein in it. And so I'll drink those, but I've thrown up those as well. Sometimes they make me nauseous. Like it's just very inconsistent, like no matter what I tolerate. Then lunch is very iffy. I've tried bringing like the quinoa that's like cooked in bone broth for like extra protein with like tomato sauce to work, but I can only ever like eat a really small amount of it for my work lunch. So then I'll try having crackers, and then I'll try having juice at work, and then I'll try having like some candy at work. Like it just really varies what I can actually tolerate while I'm at work, and then when I get home, what I can tolerate for dinner will vary. Sometimes I'll just have some cassava, sometimes I'll just have like some crackers and cheese. Sometimes Robert and I will try to go out. That doesn't always work out. Like I don't really know what I'm doing with food, and I feel like it's impossible to get proper nutrition at this point. And like my original thought when I bought the cassava was that I could just use that to replace all my meals if I needed to, but I just can't. Like I just don't love like meal replacements enough to like do that. Like I'll try to have it. I can have it for like one meal a day some days, and I like the cassava and I'm glad that I bought it, but it doesn't like fit the thought that I had that I could just replace all my meals with it and like everything will be fine, because that's not what happened. I just don't know what I'm doing. Like that is my symptom update. Like I don't know what I'm doing. My symptoms are really bad, and like my food and my diet's very limited to like gastroparesis friendly foods. Like, and I still have a lot of symptoms, and I just don't know what the heck I'm doing at all. So I have a GI appointment like in another like week. So a week from now I have a GI appointment, and I will let you guys know how that goes. Yeah, I just don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just kind of surviving. I'm in a lot of pain like right at this moment. Like I'm struggling right now. And I had to write a script for this video that I've now read, so now I'm just talking to you. But I had to write a script for this video because my brain fog is so bad that I knew there was no way that I could like make this video without a script and like hold all this information in my mind enough to like make a video. So that's also super frustrating for me. But I hope you guys like this new format. So every single month at the least, I'm gonna do a video where I just sit down and like tell you what I'm eating, what I'm doing, what I'm feeling, and just give you the full update of like that month. And the next video is gonna be about like the reasons why I know that I have it despite the negative scan, because there is a whole year of evidence and reasons as to why I know that I have gastroparesis despite the negative gastric emptying scan. Yeah, I'm in a lot of pain, so I'm gonna stop this video because it's starting to really get me, and I have somewhere I have to be for Labor Day with my friends. Like I'm just like so much freaking pain right now, like right just here. It's so hard to breathe right now, so I'm gonna stop this video. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my update. And yeah, that's the update. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not feeling well. I'm not getting properly nourished. And I feel like I've tried everything. And I will keep trying everything that I can, but I don't know what else to do. And I'm seeing my GI in like a week and a half. So I will make a video about how that goes, but my hopes for it are not high. Like I don't really know what else Western medicine can do for me, but I also don't know how much more like alternative medicine can do for me. Like I'm not sold on either one helping me. Like I feel like I don't know if like anything is really helping me that much. It's so frustrating, and I'm in a lot of pain, so I'm gonna end this video. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Love y'all. Honestly, like YouTube is like the only thing getting me through this right now besides like my husband. Like this has just been such a freaking hard year, and it just never stops. Like just gastroparesis is just my life now. All right. So much pain. Gotta stop.